All right, guys, we are back. We got the Fate trailer here to go ahead and check out. So this one's for the end of month banner. I predicted Emblem Hero. Let's see if I was right about that. Okay, it's looking like it is an Emblem Hero. It was the double special that gave it away. Oh, it's actually Leif. Interesting. Yeah, so normally you can tell when it's an Emblem Hero or it's going to be like a legendary throwaway or a mythic hero. The banner right before this, like either the double special or the new hero's return, depending on how good that banner is going to let you know how good this banner is going to be. So Emblem Hero is the highest value. That means the previous banner is going to be also a very high value banner. So Leif is going to be an axe type, and he's an infantry class. Okay. All right, Kita Senri with the art. Interesting, Kita Senri was the one who drew this one. Okay, so he has Sage Lord's Axe, 16 might, 1 range, -1 special trigger, distant counter. Foes with 1 range can't move through spaces adjacent to unit, and foes with 2 range can't move through spaces within 2 spaces of unit. For unit and allies in 3 rows of 3 columns center on unit, grants all stats of X. For unit, X is 15. For allies, X is 5. Neutralize effects that grant special cooldown bonus to foe or inflict guard on unit or ally. Okay, so he's got tempo there. And then grant special cooldown count -Y to unit or ally and inflict special cooldown count +Y on the foe before unit or ally's first attack during combat. Okay, so he does Scowl and then he does Rally Spectrum on the ally. Wow. If unit or ally has weapon triangle advantage, Y is 2, otherwise Y is 1. And effects on foe's special cooldown count trigger only if foe's attack can trigger foe's special. Can't exceed the foe's maximum special cooldown. And then unit deals +25 damage, excluding on AoEs. Reduce damage from foes' attacks by 15, excluding on AoEs. And reduce damage from foes' special by another 15 during combat. And then he has a style. He has Light Brand style. Interesting. Okay, quadruple hit, 5-hit cooldown. When special triggers, boost damage by unit speed. At start of player phase or enemy phase, grants truly incited and null follow-up to unit and allies in 2 spaces for 1 turn. Reduce damage from foes' attacks by 40% and unit attacks twice during combat. If foe initiates combat, triggers the following effects when determining weapon triangle. If the foe is counted as red, unit is counted as blue. If foe is counted as green, unit is counted as red, and if the foe is counted as colorless, grants weapon triangle advantage to unit and inflicts weapon triangle disadvantage on the foe. Wow, so he just has omni-color advantage no matter what, basically. If the foe initiates combat, that is. And then if the number of spaces from unit space to foe space is greater than or rather less than or equal to 3, this effect triggers in up to 2 combat instances per turn. Otherwise, this effect triggers any number of times. Does not affect skill effects that trigger based on attributes, such as if in combat against a red foe. That would be for feud, like red feud, colorless feud, etc. And then if foe initiates combat, neutralize effects that boost values along with weapon triangle advantage or reduce values along with weapon triangle at disadvantage. T-Adept on unit and foe. Huh. So is that what his ring is going to do? His ring is going to give allies color advantage all the time? It would be really... Because the way his ring worked in Engage, I can't really tell how they're going to work that to be in Fae. The main thing that it was good for was reducing con. So you could use higher might weapons with as little detriment as possible. Alright, so he has a new A skill here, Arms Shield 4. If the foe initiates combat or if unit's HP is over 25% at the start of combat, grants attack speed and defense up 10. Neutralize penalties on unit. Unit deals +X damage. Reduce damage from foes' attacks by X, excluding AoEs. If unit has weapon triangle advantage, X is 15. If unit has weapon triangle disadvantage, X is 5. If neither, then X is 10. And inflict special cooldown count -1 on the foe per attack during combat. Huh. Seems a bit situational there. I mean, it's not bad. Like, at worst, in neutral cases, it's just 10 true damage and 10 DR. And then attack, speed, and defense up 10. I still feel like Rise Above is better than that, though. Alright, then we also have Counter Dull. And then we have Thunder Spectre, so repeat skills. And then his Emblem effect. So, Enhanced Engage Special. When special triggers, boost damage by units max special cooldown count value times 4. If the foe initiates combat, triggers the following effects when determining weapon triangle. If foe is counted as red, unit is green. Unit is counted as blue. If foe is counted as blue and unit is red, unit is counted as green. And if foe is counted as green and unit is blue, unit is counted as red. If the number of spaces from unit space to foe space is less than or equal to 3, this effect triggers in up to 1 combat instance per turn. Otherwise, this effect triggers any number of times and does not affect skill effects that trigger based on attributes such as if in combat against red, which again, like I said, is like red feud, colorless feud, etc. And then if foe initiates combat, neutralize effects that boost values along with weapon triangle advantage or reduce values along with weapon triangle disadvantage on unit and foe. Okay, so basically his ring gives you color advantage against red, blue, and green. It doesn't do colorless. Like, Leif himself has colorless type advantage. But this ring is not going to give you advantage against colorless. It's only for red, blue, and green. It'll be nice on units with Arc Rival, I guess, but this is probably one of the weaker emblem rings overall, I want to say. Certainly not on the same level as something like Corrin Ring or Byleth Ring or Edelgard Ring. Goddamn, that animation was fire right there. Did you see that? Oh, his style, too, by the way. Completely forgot. So, Light Brand style. Unit can attack foes 2 spaces away. Decreases the speed difference necessary for a unit to make a follow-up by 10. And calculates damage using the lower of foes' defense or res. And then the same conditions. Like, when you have range style, the same conditions like Bulwark effects. And then, depending on what enemy you're fighting, how they counterattack, and etc. And then after combat, movement effects don't occur. Skill effect range is treated as 1. Style can only be used once per turn. Okay. And then we have his stats here. So 40 HP, 56 attack with a debuff from somewhere. 49 speed, 39 defense, and then 24 res again with a debuff from somewhere. Yeah, so he's going to go ahead and use his style. Here, he's going to have color advantage against Balder. And then he does, of course, get brave attacking. Man, that animation is crazy. Look at that. That is so dope. It's got to be the best attack animation in the game right now. Oh, his unmitigated stats. So 62 attack and 30 res. I guess he was at -6. Well, -6 to res, I think. Yeah, -6 to both, actually. All right, sure. All right, here they're going to show him on defense because he's going to get colored advantage on Crom here. He seems like an interesting unit. I think Vantage would have gone pretty hard on him if he had that. Like, enemy phase Brave with Omni color advantage and then also having the Brave attack. Like, he would have been a real interesting unit to have Vantage with. Okay, here we're going to show off the ring. So, of course, Celica is going to have color disadvantage. And then Arc Rival, like I said, which is definitely the units who are going to benefit from the ring the most, is people who have Arc Rival. All right, and this is going to be the rest of the banner over here. All right, so what do we got going on? Over on green, we have Leif, of course. Then we got Legendary Leon and Baby Edelgard. Yeah, pretty good green pool, honestly. Like, all three of these units are pretty good. All right, then next up we have on blue, we've got Emblem Sigurd. We have, what was this guy's name again? Lowen. And then who's the other blue unit? Was it Tibarn? Fallen Tibarn. Was he blue? I think he has to be, right? All right, so he was on blue. Then on red, we have Duo Sigurd. We have Chosen Alphonse, and then we have Emblem Core in there. That's also not too bad of a red pool there. Like, getting merges on these guys would be pretty beneficial. All right, and then finally on colorless, we've got Sombron. We have Claude from Jugdral, not Claude from Three Houses. And then we have Fallen Ivy there. Yeah, it's an interesting banner. I think green has some decent value for sure. If you're going to go for plus 10s like red, if you get a plus 10 Sigurd or a plus 10 on Alphonse, both of those would be pretty good. It is a duo Sigurd, right? It's not like harmonic. It has to be duo because Sigurd and Eldigan, they're both from FE4. So I would imagine they are a duo, right? Yeah, so like merges on them, they're going to be a high-scoring unit for Arena. Chosen Alphonse, all the Chosen heroes at plus 10 are like godsends for Arena. And then, of course, Emblem Core and just an emblem unit with a ring. That would be good to have at plus 10. So, yeah, red and green definitely seem like the colors to go for if you're going to summon. Whether or not you should be summoning on this, honestly, I don't know, man. I feel like he's not really a must-pull, despite being an Emblem Hero. All right, before we get out of here, let's take a look at the inheritances for his new ace skill, Arms Shield, which, by the way, I don't think is better than Rise Above, but that's neither here nor there. They probably realized they went a little overboard with Rise Above. Okay, so Arms Shield is for all movement types, and then it looks like it's for sword, lance, axes, bows, and... Well, no, not bows and daggers. Just sword, lances, and axes. Okay, Arms Shield being available to the other movement types that can't get Rise Above, that does say something. So you'd be able to get this on your cavalry and flyers, as long as they're a sword, lance, or an axe type. Now, that's actually pretty good, because then this would be a great ace skill for them. But if you're infantry or armored, then Rise Above is still on top, I gotta say. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I am very surprised that they actually did Leif. They actually gave our boy a shot there. So, yeah, at this point on, now Emblem Heroes from the DLC are on the table, and... there's definitely going to be some big characters coming up for that, like Camilla, for example. Can you imagine what Emblem Camilla is going to be capable of after what baby Camilla has done to the game? Like, dude, she is going to be so broken. But, yeah, we'll see when we get there. This is your boy Tacho signing out. Next month is going to be a big month because we're going to get the Choose Your Legends units, and they're going to reset the meta. They're going to have the BST cap increase and all that stuff. So lots of craziness coming up. Stay tuned because I will be covering all of it as it happens. And I will catch y'all again on the flip side.